Hi there, this is Carrie from Stamp with CT. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Of course, if you're catching this part of the video, you are probably watching the replay. So hello, replay crew, we love you. And if you're able to hop on live, super excited to have you here with me as well. But I'm just glad to be able to record this video so that others can watch it, after they get off work, because we're doing this the middle of the afternoon now at 3 o'clock Central Time on Wednesdays. So Oliver and I have already had a busy day. I worked this morning, went to get my hair cut, so now I'm home and ready to do a little crafting with you. And it is officially fall. So I'm loving that. Our weather is quite a bit cooler today, and it just feels so good. I love fall. Our 40th anniversary was Sunday, and I just love fall. I love that it feels like we're going to be moving into the holiday season very quickly now, and before we know it, it'll be January, won't it? I love crafting for these holidays that are coming up. So it's just one of my very favorite times of year. And I thought I would share something really fun with you today. Something that my sweet friend Celine Kempton taught me. And that is how to make a cute little pumpkin with the bee builder punch. So if you'll remember, we had the bee builder punch and the Bee Mind stamp set in a previous catalog that carried over. So if you have this little bee punch, you're going to be able to make the most adorable pumpkin. If you have an oval punch or oval dies, you can do that with them as well. I just loved what Celine came up with, and I love that in paper crafting we can share our ideas. So not only did Celine share what she came up with me, but I get to share it with you. So it's just a lot of fun. And we're going to make a quick little pumpkin so I can teach you how. All right, sorry, Oliver. Oliver's right underneath my table. But we're going to get started. Let me bring this just a tiny bit closer to where you can see it. It is so stinking cute, you guys. And I think I'll go ahead and show you too the card that I completed with a pumpkin like this. So this is with the Bee Builder Punch, and you'll see as it comes together how that works. I also want to share with you a really cool embossing folder that I used for this, and then also the stamp set. So I'll set this aside so we can start working on our pumpkin. But first, let me just show you this adorable stamp set. Now, this is in the new mini catalog, our holiday catalog. So super cute. Lots of different ideas for like beverage holders, pumpkin spice. So adorable. And it does have a really cool die set that coordinates with it. I didn't happen to grab it, but this is just a really fun little stamp set that I did go ahead and get. I missed it the first couple times through the catalog, but I thought this was just so adorable. Cute little font and great images. So this is a lot of fun for this little stamp set. And then, of course, we have our bee punch. I have Calypso Coral ink and Early Espresso ink that I'm going to be using. And then a couple of sponge daubers over here. So not really a whole lot of supplies to create this. I've got a brand new one and then one that we've already used with Early Espresso. So if you're not familiar with those, they just slip on your finger and you're able to ink around the edges, like I'll show you on this one. You can kind of see where we've applied a little bit of ink there to give it a little bit of shading, and here use the Early Espresso ink. So it's just really how you like it, what you're drawn to. But I'll show you how to make this little bee pumpkin. And then this embossing folder, I absolutely love Forever Plaid. And again, this comes from the new mini catalog. And it's one of those oversized embossing folders that Stampin' Up! Has had for, I don't know, a year or so now. They're really cool. So I was actually able to put this piece and then the other piece on the card that I'm going to put together with you. I was able to put both of them in there, run it through with one pass. Great for use with your scrapbooking. That's something that I have learned. These oversized embossing folders are really good when you're doing scrapbooking layouts, because that's a really good piece of real estate that you can emboss and then use on your layout. So cool. Okay. So one of the things we're going to need is some strips of pumpkin pie cardstock. I found that about 1.5 inches works the very best. Now, you know that Dale and I a lot of times will teach you to use strips of cardstock when you're using these builder punches, because you've got different pieces on these builder punches. So if you just put a piece of cardstock in and punch, you're going to get all of the pieces. And so by sliding in a strip, I'm just getting the bee body, which is exactly what I want. And actually that might be a tiny bit too skinny. I think it's going to work though. So while I've got this in here, I need 3 bee bodies. That's funny, isn't it? I want one that has the stinger, so that little pointy piece. So we need one that has the stinger. And then we need a couple that do not have the stinger. So what I'm going to do here is just slide this down. Maybe I'll come from this direction. That might make more sense. So I hope you can see that I've slid that down to where the stinger is not going to be punched out. It's kind of leaving that little tip off, and you'll see in just a minute. And let me cut this maybe. Did I not get a scissor out? Oh goodness, y'all, it may be buried. There it is. Let me just cut this off right quick. And then we'll slide that back in. And again, I need another one that does not have the stinger, so I don't need that little point. It doesn't really matter if you end up with it, but... And then I'm going to keep this punch handy because we're going to do something else with the punch in just a moment. So let me see. So we've got the one that has the stinger on it and the other 2 that don't. So the 2, whoops, I actually have 2 that do. So let's just trim this guy off a little bit. And do I have some extra bits laying around too, don't I? Magic of swiping them off screen. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our ones that don't have a stinger and the ones that do. So I'm just going to adhere these that don't have a stinger together. Like that. And then all I'm going to do is the one with the stinger is the one that's going to be on top. So you can see how super easy. And again, if you have a circle or an oval punch or dies, you can certainly make a pumpkin. I've done that so many times over the years. You just want to offset those a little bit. So every pumpkin is going to be a little bit different, just like when you go to the pumpkin patch, right? And so then we're going to want to put our other with the stinger. Well, I've already messed up. Let's set this aside and let's try punching a couple more. I just get too excited, you guys. You probably know what I've messed up on, right? Let's punch a couple more. Because I wanted to ink around the edges before I glued those together. Fortunately, we're just using scraps of cardstock, so that works. Come from the other end. It's all good. Okay. So now, I've kind of got the stinger on a couple of them. It's okay, we can trim it off. This gives it just a really interesting shape, and I like that. Okay, so you've got a couple options. I grabbed the Calypso Coral, And I have the early espresso. I have sponge daubers where I could use either one of those colors. I think I'll show you the Calypso Coral. And of course you could grab your pumpkin pie ink as well. I just kind of liked it with the Calypso Coral. Then it'll take a minute to get some ink built up on that sponge dauber, but I'm just kind of going around, sponging on that ink, and it just gives it a little bit of depth. Now it'll really look like a pumpkin. I used to love it when we carried sponges, actual round sponges, and we could cut them into pieces. But I like using sponge daubers as well. I think they're a little bit neater, actually. And you get several in a package. And you can label these if you want to, or you can just set them aside and use them like for a color family. You could use really pretty much any orange. And then what I think I'm going to do, because where the stinger is, kind of acts as your stem. I'm going to add a little bit of brown. And it's crazy how that really does look like a stem. And we'll add the little squiggly piece too, but you don't have to. I wanted to show you that you don't necessarily have to do that. All right, we'll move those out of the way. I think we're done with the inks for right now. Now let's take our two bee bodies and adhere them together. How about that? I need to just take a minute and think about what I'm doing. I just get so excited, y'all. Excited for fall. So tell me what your favorite thing about fall is. I realize that the State Fair of Texas opens, I want to say maybe this weekend? Pretty soon. Which is awesome. Okay. And then we're going to take this one that has the stinger, and we're just going to place it over top so it gives it that real 3D effect, doesn't it? Let's put a little glue, probably way too much glue for one little pumpkin. And you could pop that up as well if you wanted to, give that dimension. I like to bring this top one down just a tiny skosh. You know, again, it really kind of makes it look a little bit more 3D. And if you wanted to use dimensionals, of course, that would work too. So it looks like just a nice pumpkin. And I don't have it even on both sides, because if you look at a pumpkin in nature, it's not perfect, right? Okay. So that's how quick and easy it is to make a pumpkin. So darling. Now, for the little squiggly piece, all we did was take a little scrap of early espresso cardstock, and this is probably way too long. You could cut this with your trimmer if you wanted to, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch. I'm not striving for perfection right now, but I'm just going to break the fibers, kind of twist this brown cardstock to make it look like the stem of the pumpkin. And this may be a little bit too long, so I can always crook it over a bit. I can always kind of just take and snip that off or tear that off at the bottom too. Okay, I grabbed some glue dots, and we'll just add that little stem. Kind of scrunching this glue dot up with my fingernail a little bit, with my finger. And we're just going to add it right over the tip where the bee stinger is. You could probably come in there back behind that too if you'd rather. And again, We just twist it, and we want it to be kind of curly. We don't want it to be perfect, which is good because perfect is hard for me. Okay, and then one little last touch that I really like on my pumpkin is to take a little scrap of basic white cardstock, and on your bee punch you have this adorable little heart. So let's get one of those little hearts too. And we'll bring our glue dots back in, and we'll use that to add this little heart. Thought that was a fun touch too. So I plan to make some type of little treat for my co-workers, and make maybe even a little 3x3 card. I don't know that I'll repeat this card over and over, but I think even a little 3x3 card with some type of little treat for my co-workers would be a lot of fun. They love getting treats, and who doesn't, right? So this is just an early espresso card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then a 5 1/4 by 4 inside panel that we can add. You could certainly do some stamping, you know, add some interest to this as well. Be fun to do another little strip of the plaid embossing to put on the inside. I cannot get enough of that embossing folder. It's so cool. Okay. And then this, I believe I did at 5 by 3 3/4, and then I'm pretty sure this is 4 by 2 3/4, so an inch smaller. And I just cut myself a couple because I need to stamp right quick. And I think I'll pretty much do things like I did on my other card. So first I've got I'm grateful it's finally, and then we'll stamp our fall. So you've got just this strip sentiment and then the cute little fall. Let's see if I can get close enough and y'all still see it. We'll see how I do. It's always fun stamping when there's a camera up above. That's a little bit crooked. Let's try it again. Two sides to that paper, right? So that gives us 2 chances. Now you know why I have an extra piece. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Grateful it's finally. And then let me grab my other stamp. If I can find him. There he is. Grateful it's finally fall. And I just wanted this on here kind of in a whimsical way. Doesn't have to be super straight. It's not at all, but I'm happy with that. I like that. And then I have just a tiny little bit of linen thread left on this bolt, so let's see what we can do with it. There's such a satisfaction in using up ribbon or embellishments. I love it when I run out of something like that. And oh, I have another idea. We may do something a little bit different. Let me see. If I put my pumpkin on, oh, I really think it needs that around it. I was going to make like a little bow, but I think it would look kind of silly just right here. I love making bows where you do 2 or 3 pieces of linen thread and just tie it like a regular bow, and you get this fussy little bow, messy little bow. So adorable. But instead, I think what we'll do is just go ahead and add this like I did with the other one. We'll use our little cheater method here. I'm not going to have enough to wrap around, I don't think, 3 times. We'll try it. But with the cheater method, just use a little piece of tape to tack that down, or you can use a glue dot or your Stampin' Seal plus some type of adhesive just to adhere that down. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. It's not going to make it quite all the way back around. So we'll just tape it. And I always keep Scotch tape handy. And then we'll just cut that little tail back off. Trim, give it a haircut. Okay, we're done stamping, so I think I can get that out of the way. And it looks like I need to order some more linen thread, doesn't it? Now, you could certainly use ribbon also. You could put some embellishments on if you wanted to. I got my tape a little bit long. Let's get that off of there. Okay, so now I'm just ready to put these layers together. So look how quick and easy it is to make a cute little fall card. And I'm sure there's some type of like pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice, or pumpkin treat that you could find. That you could just put the little pumpkin on if you wanted to. Doesn't necessarily have to be a card. Now let's turn that over and try to get that adhesive to stick. I put a little bit more adhesive than usual because we are working with that embossed layer, so not all of those fibers are going to touch each other. I think that's a little bit wonky. I don't necessarily think that that piece of paper was embossed super straight, but we're gonna go with it because it's about cuteness, not perfection, y'all. And I think this is pretty stinking cute. That paper doesn't look straight. Something's wrong, but we'll keep going. Just so we're not futzing with this all afternoon. So of course that plaid embossing folder, oh how wonderful to use it all throughout the Christmas season. But don't forget, we have some really cute plaids. Dale's got a pretty orange and brown plaid shirt. So fall, plaid goes well with fall too. Okay, so then we'll take this little pumpkin that I just made. And of course you can keep zhuzhing with it if you want to. And we'll put some dimensionals on the back. I think I've got a couple over here. And that way we can add our pumpkin on this side. And I like how the little curly stem looks. That's just so fun. All right, guys. That is how you make a cute little fall pumpkin card with a pumpkin that is made with the bee punch. Who would have thought? So thank you to Celine, my sweet friend, for sharing how to do that, because I thought that was just ingenious. And again, if you have ovals, you use your oval dies or punch. Circles, you can always cut a little piece off of them if you need to, and just make that work. All right, I think that's it for today. I talked a little bit last week about you'll notice some changes with things, and so we're going to keep things sweet and simple most of the time now on our Wednesday videos. But I do want to tell you how very much I appreciate you watching and how much I appreciate your support of our Stampin' Up! Business. We absolutely love inspiring people to find their creativity, and we appreciate you being here. And it's time for Oliver to get a treat, isn't it, Oliver? Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.